Frank Open, how are you?
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and it's my pleasure to have you on Frank Talk. We're going to talk about a lot of things about what you've been able to accomplish, and very importantly, I really want to explore how you've been able to create such a brand that is so recognized worldwide. So, I mean, without further ado, I'm going to get right to it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Wonderful. Now then, you've been described or nicknamed as the dreamer. Okay? You've been compared to and described as the African Donald Trump, which to me is a big compliment for your work in media, entertainment, and infrastructure in Nigeria. I'm just wondering, is that an accurate assessment of how you see yourself?
No, not Donald Trump. I think he's a very nice man. But
Okay.
Donald Trump is a very successful entrepreneur in the real estate market. I think we've done a lot in media. We've done a lot in real estate. We've done a lot in television. And I'm very proud of what we've accomplished from a country that's 55 years old.
Absolutely.
And when you're a young country, you have big opportunities. And for me, I'm excited about what we've accomplished. But I'm more excited about what young Africans can accomplish.
Yes.
The biggest problem we had prior to 1960 was Africans didn't have role models. When you don't have a role model, it's difficult for you to look up to someone who you could say gives you hope, makes it possible for you to dream, to be successful.
Yes.
And so what we've accomplished, we've done so with whatever time we have left in this world, and hopefully the young generation will look at us and say we didn't do so badly and do better than what we have done in our lifetime. And so that's what's important to me.
So the term dreamer, do you think that applies to you?
I think yes, it applies today, but 20 years from now, the things we dreamt about will be nothing. The young kids will dream about bigger things. So yeah, for now, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I would call you a dreamer because I'm just going to my next question, which is it's rare to find an African-born businessman, especially of your generation, who, thinks out of the box, encourages the creative arts, with such passion. So my question to you is, why did you choose creative arts, this industry, to be able to do this?
I didn't choose creative arts. I think creative arts chose me.
Okay.
And I think for every African child, you must have access to education. You have access to education, and your parents can afford it or the state can provide it. It depends. You have the world at your feet, and you can choose to be an athlete. You can choose to be a musician. You can choose to be a writer. You can choose to work for NASA. You can choose to go to Harvard or Yale. You can choose to go to community college.
Absolutely.
But you must be given the opportunity. If you give the opportunity, then you get a chance to be successful. A lot of kids from Africa are not given the opportunity. And so if you have it, take it, use it. So yeah, you can dream as much as you want to.
Absolutely.
And so we dream because we can, and we accomplish things because we have the opportunity. But a lot of kids in Africa don't have that opportunity.
Absolutely.
And so we want to be role models for them so they can be successful.
Yeah.
And if I did that, then my life on earth has not been in vain.
As you say that, I'm just thinking growing up, to have thought about creative arts, whether it's being an artist, actor, whatever. I mean, back home is unheard of. Your parents would stifle that. So I'm really curious, what inspired you still, coming from that generation, what inspired you to pursue this?
I think when I came to America, I went to 3 universities to get a degree. I went to Simpson College for one semester. I got bored, and I transferred to Iowa State University. I was there for a year, and I got bored, and I transferred to USC. Now, when I was at SC, those of you who've been to the campus and live in Southern California, when you're at SC, your mind opens up.
Yeah.
You're liberated. On campus sometimes, I'd see Bob Hope doing TV specials. I'd see Dionne Warwick doing TV specials. One of my favorite TV shows was James Garner, Rockford Files. It's college here on campus, and you're inspired when every day you walk through campus and you see the greatest stars in the world on campus. All of a sudden your mind wanders, and Lever Burton of Roots. He was at SC when I got into SC.
Okay.
So, it opens up doors, and you think. Once you start thinking, then you figure it out.
Yes.
Okay, if you go to MIT, you think of the space program, you think of rockets, you think of technology. If you go to Harvard, you may think of law.
That is true.
If you're in Southern California, you think of entertainment, you think of other things.
Yes.
Okay, so, like I said, it chose me. I didn't choose where I found myself.
What is special in that is that people think, but people don't do. Actions speak louder than words.
Well, that's true.
And now I'm going to take you now to the resources.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you're a hardworking man, but some people say you born out of privilege. So I just laugh, but I really want to hear from you.
My father was a middle class. He passed away 18 years ago. He was a middle class guy. He only had a 6th grade education. My mother only had a 6th grade education.
Wow.
They worked for UAC, one of the biggest companies in Nigeria at the time. When they retired, his salary retirement was 2,000 naira, which is about $20 today. Checking by inflation. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he had a chance to set up a business, Domino Stores, in 1964, and he grew. So I said to myself, if he didn't set up a company in '64, where would I have been and what opportunities would I have had? So he took a gamble and his life began at 55. When he retired, he set up a company and he worked till he died at 83. So with what he accomplished, he gave us a chance to go to school. Exactly. A lot of kids didn't have this opportunity, so we weren't born rich, but he became middle class and lower upper class and gave us those opportunities, but he was a simple man. And because he was a simple man, he never bought expensive clothes, never had an expensive watch, never had an expensive car, never lived in an expensive house. Mm-hmm. He spent all his money educating his kids.
Right.
And so I get sad when I see kids growing up without a father because the father left home. And when I watch, especially in America, every time I watch TV, everybody says, "Hi, Mom." And I say, where's the dad? And you can't really grow in this environment without a father and a mother. You gotta have a stable environment to grow in. And I'm not blaming a young kid growing up without a father. Really nice to have a father and a mother at home.
Absolutely.
And I encourage you. I've been married for 37 years, and I'm a happy guy. But that's because that's how I was raised.
Absolutely.
And so when you have that kind of background, and you see life in a different way.
Yeah. I'm glad that you cleared that up because there's some rumor, that...
Rumor?
Word on the street. Well, let's clear. This is frank talk.
If you just ask me, I'll tell you.
Yes. That, you're very attached to people in power,
I'm very attached to people in power.
Yeah, you have people in power that have given you all the resources you have. They don't give credit to your hard work.
When you become successful, people are going to say different things about you.
Absolutely.
And you have to not let that bother you. Mm-hmm. What is important is what you can accomplish on your own and achieve success.
Yes.
The old-fashioned way. And that's who I am. I mean, I don't drink or smoke. Never been high in my life. And I encourage people not to do that either. But, hey.
Well, I'm glad they're listening. Now, let's see what we can do about this. In the United States and most developed countries, the creative industries, entertainment, media contributes to the GDP of the country. But most African countries, even though we have entertainment, we don't have them structured in a way that you really contribute. What do you think that Nigeria and other African nations need to do to build the industry so that it actually
I think Nigeria has turned the corner when it comes to that. I think Nigeria is very successful in the entertainment industry.
Right.
If you look at all of Africa, 53 countries, some democratic, some not so democratic, some free and some in prison. Mm-hmm. Creativity survives with democracy. Yeah. Creativity cannot survive with a military junta.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, if you look at Africa, some countries are creative by nature. Absolutely. Some countries are not. Mm-hmm. Creativity in Africa is going to be Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa. Mm-hmm. Creativity is not going to be Botswana. True. Creativity is not going to be Congo or Zambia. Mm-hmm. Creativity is going to be Nigeria. Senegal has some creative people.
Yes.
But you're talking about the champions of Africa.
True.
Now, Senegal could have a guy to put somebody in the moon. Senegal can have a guy to develop a space rocket. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yes.
If you look at Africa, the talent for creativity is not distributed evenly.
Yes.
And that's what the issue is. Now, South Africa has a very developed entertainment creative environment. Yeah. Nigeria is developing one. Mm-hmm. The President Jonathan created a $200 million fund. We just had a movie 30 days in Atlanta. It's grossed almost $1 million, which is shown on Silverbed in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. Nigerian movie that cost, I don't know, a couple of $1,000 has grossed $1 million right now. Okay, now, prior to that, the highest grossing Nigerian movie grossed maybe $250,000. Okay. So all of a sudden, the highest grossing movie in Nigeria today is the highest grossing movie compared to Bollywood, Nollywood, or Hollywood. Because the second highest grossing movie, I think, was James Bond or one of the movies. But 30 Days Atlanta has done 35% of what those ones do.
Okay.
So Nigeria is very, very developed.
Yes.
But as developed as it is, it's not where it ought to be.
Okay.
50 years from today, they will make movies out there that will compete 20 years from now with Hollywood. Because if you think about it, technology makes making a movie cheaper today than it was 10 years ago. Because it's cheaper. Any country in the world can do it.
Yes.
Any country.
Yes.
But the country must have the talent. That's why you have only one America. You have one Nigeria. Okay?
Yes.
Now, there's a great similarity between Nigerians and Americans.
Yes.
Okay, the similarity is,
The mindsets.
well, Americans and Nigerians are loud. They're obnoxious.
I didn't say that.
You can tell them when they're coming.
Exactly.
They love entertainment.
Yes, they do.
They love showmanship.
Yes. They know
Okay.
that Nigeria was named one of the happiest countries in the world.
That's
not long
true.
ago.
That's true. So the similarity between America and Nigeria is such that then don't be surprised why if the greatness of America will rub off on Nigeria,
Yeah.
especially in entertainment and sports.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And once that happens, they will converge.
Yes.
And let me say this. A quarter of all black people in the world are Nigerians.
Absolutely.
Okay, you got 40 million black Americans. You have 175 Nigerians. That is your natural birth home.
Absolutely.
They got to go home, unite with Nigeria, unite with Africa, and come up with a plan and become a great economy on their own.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that's what they ought to do. And that's hopefully what Dream Magic will accomplish in America. Bring Africa and America together and create economic wealth like they've never seen before.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm talking about, trickling down the revenues, because for example, when the movie is shot here in Los Angeles, so many people benefit. Whether the vendors, the camera people, the man on the street benefits somehow. But I'm not in Nigeria. It's been a while since I've been to Africa, but I know that we need to come to that point where when the movie
But it's the
is
same.
used, it will trickle down.
It's the same principle. You're talking about trickle down economics.
Yes.
It's the same principle. If you make a movie, the guy selling food on the side of the street
Okay.
gets to sell.
Absolutely.
The taxi driver makes some money, moving
Okay.
people around. The
Right.
hotel makes some money. The producers, directors, camera,
Yes.
everybody makes some money.
Okay.
It's the same. What you're
So that's
saying
what's
is,
going on now?
yeah, they make more here than they make over there.
They do.
But then the cost of living is different from the two countries. But sooner or later, we will all catch up on the convergence.
Absolutely. Well, you said it. Now, I mean, you've received so many awards for your work. I mean, you can just read some of them. This Day Award of Top 10 Significant Nigerian Businessmen. The Women in Media, Nigeria Award for Excellent Personality, as well as a Life Achiever Award by the Nigeria Achievers Award Institute. The Vivante Media Enterprise Award as Champion for Nation Building. I mean, this is because you've done a lot. What is your philosophy for success? I'm really curious to know.
I think you have to work hard.
Yeah.
You have to think. First of all, you go to school.
Yeah.
You get an education. And you understand right and wrong. And you want to stay focused. Just because you choose to be in the arts doesn't give you the right to get drunk and get high and become irresponsible. Because you're in the arts doesn't give you the right to go beat up your wife or beat up your girlfriend or be disrespectful to your children.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you the right to be different from anybody else.
Yeah.
You got to have a level head. You have a level head, you got a shot. If you don't, you rise and you will fall. And in my career, I've seen a lot of people rise and I've seen them fall. And some have the opportunity to rise a second time, others don't. And so you could be an NBA star and your career is over and then your life is ruined. Or you could be a great musician and the next day you're a bodyguard somewhere because you don't know how to hold your money.
Yeah.
You can't hold your investments. And I always tell people, you must be smart enough to protect what's dear to you,
Yes.
which is not the money, your wife and your children. And the only way you protect your wife and your children is to make sure you have the right investments to look after them. That's very, very important. But a lot of people get carried away by the excitement of the moment.
Yes.
They get caught in the moment.
Yes.
You get caught in the moment, you lose everything.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't get a chance to get back.
Yeah. What about somebody who has passion? What would it take other than passion? I mean, of course we know passion has to drive you, but doing it and staying with it is tough. And you've had years and years, decades of doing this. What is the...
It's no different from any profession in the world. It's no different from being a priest, bringing an imam. It's no different from any profession.
Absolutely.
You ride a bike, you're going to fall down. And to me, when you run a business and you file bankruptcy or you get broke,
Yes.
it's important you go through that
Yeah.
because you appreciate. It's like what Nixon said. He said, it's only when you're in the deepest valley do you know how magnificent it is to be on the highest mountain.
True.
Okay? And a lot of people, when they fall, that is when you work twice as hard to rise.
Yes.
But when some people fall and they stay down. They don't know how to stand up.
Yes.
Because at some point in your life, you're going to fall. Somebody's going to die. You're going to lose somebody dear to you. You're going to get broke. You're going to make a bad investment. Something terrible is going to happen to you.
That's true.
But the greatness of man is the ability to rise from tragedy. It's not for you to stay down.
Yes.
So entertainment or media or real estate, any business is all the same. Okay? But the difference is entertainment and sports, everybody thinks you need to be not as intelligent to do that. But here's what it is. To be in entertainment, you have to be smarter than most people. It is the hardest way to make a living. Very, very difficult. You know. So
Preaching to the choir.
it's very hard to make a living there.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you said it, I guess, stick with it. If you have passion, go for it. Now, let's shift some gears here. Because now you are into another phase, with all the success that you've acquired, entertainment and everything. Recently, we've been reading about you taking another tangent. I would imagine that if I were you, I would just want to relax somewhere and still be having fun. But no, you want the challenge, don't you? You've decided now that you're going to go into politics. Why?
Again, politics chose me.
They keep choosing you.
Yeah, it chose me. And let's go back to what I said when we started.
Yes.
Africa needs role models. Role models who can think. What is the biggest problem that we have? 75% of Nigerians are under the age of 35. A lot of young people.
Yeah.
They have no jobs, they don't go to school, and they have no hope.
Okay.
When people have no hope and they go to school, they pick up guns, knives, machetes, they kill, they steal, they rob, they maim, they have to make a living. If you don't give them hope, you destroy society. They need to know there's an alternative, there's a way out. And for you to have that way out, somebody must say to them, I am one of you. I can relate to the depths of poverty that you come from. We can make laws to protect those kids.
Yeah.
We can make laws that helps parents make decisions, not have 6 babies, but have 4. We can help you control. Listen, the biggest problem we have in Africa is the population out of control.
Yeah.
Another big problem is the economy not rising fast enough. So you have 2 problems. One, population is rising faster than the economy. The population must be less than the growth of the economy.
Sure.
Otherwise, no matter how fast your economy grows, you will never provide jobs. In Nigeria, we need to create 2 million jobs a year. That's not possible. But if we have fewer kids, and let's say we could provide 1 million jobs a year, with fewer kids, everybody could be employed. But right now, we have too many babies who are not productive. The percentage of population that produce the wealth to look after the babies is small, and the babies, it's so many. Now, a young kid is an angry child. Okay, they get angry and they want instant gratification. The MTV generation. I need to connect with them. I need to speak to them. I say, listen, if you carry a gun, you kill someone, you get killed. Okay, either way, somebody dies. We need to create jobs. We live in a society where a great percentage of the wealth of Nigeria and Africa is spent on living a good life. Very little is spent developing society. So if you have a budget of, say, $100 billion, 70% of that will be spent on salaries and allowances and expenses, hotel bills and things like that. And if you spend 70% of those funds living a good life, you have 30%, 20%, 10% building roads, hospitals, bridges, the things you need to grow society. I'm saying to them, look, let's reduce what we spend living this good life. Okay? Because if you don't, when you get old, you'll be facing an angry young man with a gun. Okay? And if you're rich, you're gonna need a high wire fence, bulletproof car,
That's right.
just so you can survive. But if you say to them, why don't we invest in the future? Why don't we spend less enjoying ourselves,
Yes.
spend less flying first class?
Yes.
Why would a government official be flying first class in the first place? Why would a government official be drinking a $300 bottle of champagne? That is equivalent to tuition for a child for a year.
Absolutely.
So they drink a $300 bottle of champagne. They fly first class. They get a bulletproof car. They spend millions of dollars having a good life. And they think they're immune from death. But death is around the corner because you will die. You're not going to die old age. You will die because you neglected to look after the young kid who has a gun and who's not afraid to pull the trigger. So I go into politics. And in my campaign, I'm saying to them, we have to watch what we say or do. We cannot go around as government officials wearing $1 million watch and then go to the West and ask for aid. You wear $1 million watch and go to Washington and ask for aid. The man who you want aid from or with comes to work by bus, comes to work by train.
Yes.
And so he looks at you and says, you're African. You live like this, the stupendous world, with taxpayers' money. Why should I give you any money? Why should I give you aid? Okay?
Yes.
In the first place, we should look for trade and not aid. We should develop our economy. We should grow agriculture.
Yes.
The average age of folks in agriculture in Nigeria is in the 60s. Young people are not there right now. But the Minister of Agriculture right now is pushing the program. But the biggest issue for Africa is the lifestyle. We want to look rich, we want to act rich, but we got no money in our pocket. And that has to stop, so I go into politics for the right reason. At my age, I got nothing to prove. All that matters right now is what we can leave for society. I'm doing it for my children, not for myself.
So maybe Africans, we need to stop perpetrating, trying to be something or show something that we really are not. Because it sounds to me like you're about purpose. Like you say, these things choose you when you see a need, you do it. So we need more of that kind of politics. So you said you want to tackle poverty, of course. So do you see yourself, because not just poverty, women's issues, I know it's some of the things you want to deal with. Do you see yourself as a game changer in some of these social issues?
I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate. I want to begin a movement.
Right.
And the movement is to help poor people. Look, in my campaign, I got 3 local governments in my campaign.
Right.
I've adopted 3 children. Everywhere I went, I adopted a child. And I said to them, I said, look, the little boy I adopted who was 11 years old. Another girl was about 3 years old. In Abuja, I've adopted 3 boys who were selling stuff on the side of the street.
Wow.
And I'm saying to them, I said, look, these kids I've adopted, put them in good schools. They're going to be CEOs. I guarantee you.
Yes.
They will be CEOs. They'll run banks and institutions. Because I'm giving them that opportunity. Nobody was born stupid. The environment is not conducive for you to be successful. So if I give those kids an opportunity to be successful, then I can show the world and I can show my brothers and sisters in Africa that if every successful politician or businessman takes a child off the street, I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I got tons of kids. If you take a kid off the street and you raise them as your child, you raise them with a purpose to be successful, you have one less person who is likely to point the gun at you.
Eventually.
Right?
Yes.
And you have a young girl who will be a CEO, who will be successful. And that's very important. And we cannot live in arrogance while our neighbor lives in abject poverty. And this is the message that I have. And you can only lead by example. So I do these things. Look, I'm not trying to prove a point. I do it because I love it. It's what I love to do. And so I got lots of kids all over Nigeria, wonderful kids, all going to school. And I say to them, if you're a Muslim, keep your religion. If you're a Christian, keep your religion.
Absolutely.
I'm not about changing your faith. What I care about is you get the education and you become successful.
Yeah. You know, what you just simply said is one life is worth saving.
Correct.
Because you don't know the value of that life. And you're an advocate, so advocacy is a big, thing that you really are about. So I was just thinking about, the Boko Haram crisis, and I know going back to your history with the pageantry business that you had, and right now the most beautiful girl in Nigeria, for example. When you look at what is going on with Boko Haram and the status of women in Africa, Nigeria right now because of the situation, but Africa in general, the way that we treat our women, I'm just wondering, for you going and run for Senate, how do you think your presence in the Senate would maybe, bring some change and maybe we start treating our women better.
Well, you're right. You said no. I mean, we got to treat the women better. In some parts of the country, the women are very, the southwest, the women are very powerful. If you look at Yoruba land, the women control the economy. If you go to the marketplaces, they're the ones that have the money, they're the ones that do everything. So, in Yoruba land, the women are very powerful.
Okay.
In some parts of the country, not so powerful. In some parts, they have 3, 4 wives, and that's religion and that's cultural. And I have no position on that.
Yeah.
But some women are not as well treated as others, and that should change.
Yeah.
But the only way to make it change is by the education. If you want to stop a 13-year-old getting married, put her in school until she's 21.
Yeah.
Then she can't get married until she's 21.
Yes.
You don't need to make a law and say don't get married.
Yeah.
Don't offend anyone and don't hurt people's religion and sensitivity. Yeah. Just say, look, I'll put you in school till you're 21 to get a bachelor's degree. Once you do that, the kid is not going to say, hey dad, I don't want to get married now. I want to go to school.
Yes.
And you solve that problem.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Circumcision for girls, the same thing.
Absolutely.
You explain to them. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to put a gun in anybody's head. But you educate them, put them in school, explain to them the rights and wrongs of society, and you're going to be fine. Yeah. Nigeria is a beautiful country, and we have great leaders and great institutions. But sometimes they need someone to show up and begin a movement. Mm-hmm. And because of the sensitivity of folks out there, you got to be gentle and push them in the right direction. Trust me, they'll follow, and the country will change.
Yeah, but some may argue that, our systems have failed our daughters and our sisters and our women folk because, like you just mentioned, the 13-year-olds, sometimes they can make those decisions. Don't you think we need some laws that would impede men from,
You're right.
whether it's religion or not,
you need laws.
Abusing
you need laws.
young women.
You need laws, but it's a lot more complex than that.
Right.
They'll tell you religion allows you to do that, and that's a sensitive issue. So you need laws, but you got to be gentle.
Yeah.
If you're too hard, you have the opposite effect. Don't turn the women into slaves overnight because you're trying to force them to do things culturally. The society ain't in order to do. So you got to be diplomatic about that. And I think with people like us in government, legislative arm of government, I think those changes will take place. It's not going to be fast, it's not going to be easy, but it is possible.
Yeah, we just need more people thinking that way. So do you think the government handled this Boko Haram crisis the best way they could, or could they have done better?
With 2020, you can always criticize anyone's action after the fact. But when it happened, people said Boko Haram was like the Niger Delta struggle. And they said, look, Mr. President, when the Niger Delta folks were struggling for emancipation, fighting for their rights, you didn't take a gun and shoot them. You allowed them to struggle. You worked out a deal, sent them to school, fixed the problem, and they were okay. When Boko Haram started, they said to him, you're a Christian. You can't kill these people. They're fighting for a cause. So yes, in hindsight, we should have taken them out. At the time, politically, we couldn't. The government couldn't.
Yeah.
So yes, when you look back and laugh, you have answers to questions, but it's only when you look back. Right now, it's a war. But it's a war we're going to win. So I'm not worried about that.
Hopefully soon, because, I can't even begin to imagine. I have a daughter, so. There are other things that, plague our society. And of course, nonetheless, corruption. Now, I'm just asking this question because you're running the Senate. How would you help to eradicate this so that maybe more transparency even in the laws?
It's not as difficult as that. Let's say you go to a ministry and you ask for a contract.
Right.
The guy comes and says, I'm going to build this chair and it's going to cost me $10,000.
Yeah.
Right? No problem. The minister or whoever it is signs a contract with the guy and says this chair costs $10,000. There's a department called due process.
Right.
Okay? They go check the price of the chair. They say, sorry, this chair costs only $5,000. So reduce the price to $5,000. Oh, I don't give you the contract. You have a choice. So once you have a safety net system, some kind of way you can verify prices, then you solve the problem. Don't forget, not too long ago, I was watching television here, and an American company was making toilet seats for like $3,500. And if you remember that.
I do. Yeah.
So sometimes things slip under the,
They do. But we don't want them so rampant though.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you're not going to solve all problems in 5 minutes. It's a process.
So speaking of the 419, crisis.
It's not
a crisis, actually.
It's a
phenomenon, actually. Right?
It's a con.
It's a con.
It's a simple con that just happens all over the world.
Yes.
But some African with an IQ of -50 calls you up here in Los Angeles and says, give me your account number and I'm going to transfer $50 million to your account.
Yes.
You say, wow, it's a dumb African, they don't give me $50 million. I'm going to send you $50 million. When you get the money, keep 20 and give me 30.
Right.
You say, wow, Africa's that rich. He's going to transfer $50 million and I'm going to split 20, 30. Sure, no problem. Then you get hooked. Then he says, oh, by the way, for me to do this, I want you to send me $2,000 so I can bribe the guy at the central bank so I can transfer the money. You're so excited because you're going to make $20 million, you send $2,000. You said, okay, now we've taken care of that. I got to go talk to the MD of this bank, so I need another $5,000. You send $5,000. Before you know something, you spend $20,000, right? Because you wanted stolen money, right?
So you're con too.
Who got caught?
Do you know that? No, but you know what? Still,
Fine.
it astonished the reputation of many good Nigerians because.
No. Hold on. Let me put it this way.
Yes.
I cannot feel sorry for someone who sits there and wants to make $20 million,
right,
stolen money from Africa. How am I going to feel sorry for him?
No,
he's not too
sorry.
great. So why should I feel sorry for him?
You know what? I
don't feel sorry for him. Look, I get offers like that all the time. Someone came to me the other day, many years ago, said, look, I got an oil deal. I got this deal with NNPC. I'll get you a cargo load of crude oil. I said to the guy, if you don't get out of my office, I'm going to have you arrested. Okay? I get offers, I get text messages, calls, and I have this deal for you. So I replied. When I replied, I thought I was CC EFCC or CC FBI. And I sent it, and that's the end of the conversation.
See, that's how we should all be dealing with con.
So
who's con?
I never get conned.
That's right.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. So let's see. What's been your most significant accomplishment? You know,
I tell you what. Though. All my life, everything I've accomplished. Once I've accomplished them, I move on with my life. I don't sit around gloating. Oh, I accomplished this or I accomplished that. It means nothing to me.
But there's not one thing that you really said, yes, I did it.
No.
More challenging.
That's the truth.
Really?
That is the truth. I don't sit around thinking about what I did.
It's like,
once I've done it, I move on.
Okay, like next, huh?
People, listen, when people you talk to
yes.
who are successful, talk about history,
yes.
they can't be successful anymore. Never look at your past. If you say, I've accomplished this, and you're so excited,
you're like,
trust me.
You just relax.
It's over. You can never, until you stop breathing, you can't say, wow, this was incredible, it's going to end. Oh, wow. So I don't think about the past, I think about the future.
I have just learned something very powerful there. Now, we're almost through, so we can't finish without talking about our President Barack Obama.
Yeah.
You know, I hope you do like him, because I do. How do you think he's doing?
I haven't paid attention to the policies of the United States of America, that's true. I just haven't paid attention to what's going on here because I don't live here.
Yes.
I know he's done great. He's a great president. He's a pride to the black race, a pride to the United States of America.
Yeah. I
wish I could give you a detailed response to what you're asking, but I just haven't paid attention to his policies, healthcare programs. I like his foreign policy.
Yeah.
Program.
I can tell you he's a humanitarian. Well, that's just me. But
I agree.
Yes. And in line with that, I mean, you're married to an African American, so we have this collaboration going. How do you think Africans in the diaspora and African American brothers, how can we collaborate more to advance the causes of, people of African descent?
I think it's a lot easier than people think it is. You have to go back to the history of the United States and we get to when they had the right to vote. And you go to Lyndon Johnson and John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King.
Yes.
They had the right to vote, so they could vote. Then you got people like Jesse and the other guys say, well, okay, you got the right to vote. Now, how about being part of the economic mainstream of the United States of America?
Right.
And it's like doing that. Became very successful.
Yeah.
But here's the but. African Americans who are successful in this country
Yes.
are basically athletes and ball players. Okay, you have a few, Bob Johnson and others,
Yes.
who set up businesses. But African Americans don't have factories, don't produce goods and services. Okay? Africans, on the other hand, produce goods and services.
Yes.
Okay? So when they want to collaborate, they want to collaborate with someone here who's in the same field as they are in. You got to diversify the wealth of African Americans
Yes.
in America. If all your wealth of African Americans is concentrated on athletes and musicians and movie stars, then you're locked out of the growth of Africa.
Yes.
Because if South Africa has diamonds and gold and they need a mining company, they'll go to a non-African American company. If Nigeria decides to build a car, an African car, because a car today is nothing but a computer, not the way they made cars 100 years ago. So you need science and technology, you need some capital. Now, if you want to set up a supermarket chain, because Nigeria can do with 5,000 supermarkets, they only have like 50
Yes.
or less. Now, how many African Americans have supermarkets? And you get locked into a way of life, where you become consumers. You consume everything. You want to buy a Bentley, a Rolls Royce, you want to live in the biggest house, you want to buy diamond rings and all of that. That does not create wealth. Now, Africa needs talent. So when they're looking for folks they want to employ to run a rail line, they go to the Chinese,
Yes.
they go to the Indians, they go to Lebanese, and then they go to the French, the British, the Germans, but they don't come to America. Because I think the success of America becomes a liability. America is so big as a country. You want to drive from New York to California, it takes 5 days. If you want to go from Paris to London, it takes 3 hours. And so you speak another language, another culture.
Yeah.
They colonized Africa and Europe. So they are closer. And so the economic benefits of the wealth beneath the ground is shared by the Europeans.
Yes.
The Chinese don't have natural resources, so they come to Africa and they do deals, mega deals. So what is happening is China is growing at a phenomenal rate, 8-9% a year. Europe is close by, America is far away.
Yeah.
Yet, 40 million African Americans live here.
Yes.
The number one minority group here are Nigerians, right?
Yes.
In the millions. Yet, no one has come together to say, look, the United States and Africa, the United States and Nigeria should come together for economic prosperity. And nobody's doing it. And I don't know why, but I can tell you, we need to come together. Because the talent is phenomenal in this country. The resources and opportunity is phenomenal over there. It takes a catalyst to put it together.
Yes.
And I think President Obama, in his trips to Africa,
Yeah.
should take a trade mission, go over there and discuss economic opportunities.
Yes.
I think I was with Bill Clinton when he came as president, and when he came as a former president, Chris Tucker when President Obasanjo was there. I was at dinner with both of them. He was no longer president, and he brought a business team with him. And that's not the same as being president of the United States of America.
That's true.
You come in there and you say, oh, look, there's an oil block going on sale. I want you to give that oil block to this African American, or give that oil block to an American company. We can work together and create trade.
Yes.
You've excelled in the entertainment industry in this country. Yet, nobody's out there promoting the kind of collaboration between Nollywood and Hollywood at a level that will create millions and millions of dollars, right? So we set up Dream Magic to do exactly that. And when I win the seat in the Senate, the first thing I'm going to do is come to Congress. I'm going to come to the United States, come to Congress, and talk about that specific collaboration.
Yes.
Because it makes no sense for millions of Africans to have left that continent to come to this country and yet do not enjoy the benefits of where they came from. Israel, Jewish Americans, they go to Israel. Polish Americans, they go to Poland. British Americans, they go to England. Spanish Americans, they go to South America, and so on. But you don't do the same.
Yeah.
And we need to deal with history classes. educational system come together, not in war, but in peace, and find ways so the talent we don't have, you provide.
Absolutely.
And the businesses you need to generate, we make available. That should be the number one foreign policy for African countries and the number one foreign policy for the United States, because we share a common bond that we must exploit to create phenomenal wealth. And it's not about sitting down and complaining about being broke. It's about doing something about it. And me being in politics, that would be one of the first things I do when I'm sworn.
You know, that's very important what you just said, because yes, there's perceived kind of tension between Africans and African Americans. They feel that we don't support them. And there's just some lack of communication. But like you said, maybe if we start from the top, institutionally, you know, it will bring us together to collaborate where those opportunities are created. Now, speaking of which, you mentioned Dream Magic, which is where we're sitting, the studio, magnificent studio that is really creating that kind of collaboration by the content that we're producing here. What is your vision for Dream Magic Studios?
Well, first of all, we want to unite the two continents. But more important, we need to do TV shows that have Africans and Americans on the same platform.
Yeah.
Okay. 2, we want to set up a 24-hour news channel that deals with black people.
Yes.
And deals with black people's problems. 3, we want to deal with economic empowerment. We want to say, okay, look, there's an African American walking across the street, and he needs a job. He's talented, sophisticated, got everything he wants. And as an African looking for that talent, but they're not talking to each other. Okay? So you may have an unemployment problem here, and we can fill up those spots.
Yes.
And you have educational facilities here where we can send millions of our kids to get educational training.
Yes.
So when they go back, they can make a difference.
Yes.
So we need a medium. Like, you know, I saw an ad many years ago. It's a phone book. Phone book ad in New York, and they had a guy at Fifth Avenue. One was looking for a job, the other guy was seeking a job, and crossed each other.
Exactly.
And they said, "Well, you use the phone book, you won't have that problem." So
exactly.
let's just say Dream Magic is a phone book.
That's right.
Okay, and then we're going to solve that
No,
problem.
we're really grateful. So really, thank you for creating Dream Magic for us, because we're sitting right there. So what's next for you? Are you going to be? We're going to see maybe a colleague or president.
I won't go that far. I think what's important is I get into the Senate.
Yeah.
I try to work with the Senate in Nigeria and Congress in America.
Yeah.
Work with our 2 presidents politically.
Yes.
Then economically try to find some kind of mix between the two continents and countries. Because
Yes.
you're not from Nigeria, but you care about Africa. So
I have relatives from Nigeria.
okay, but the point I'm making is Africa should be concerned about America, and
Yes.
America should be concerned about Africa.
Absolutely.
And we should speak with one voice. When
Yeah.
we vote at the United Nations, we should vote together.
Yes.
We shouldn't vote against each other
Yes.
on foreign policy and domestic
Absolutely.
policy. So 24-hour news platform is where I'm going. I'm hoping that I can get a frequency in the United States. We've got one in Europe. Africa is not a problem. If we get one here, then that'll be one phase of my life that I would have accomplished.
Yeah, just one last question. Just sum it up. What do African governments need to do? Or what do we need to do as Africans to make our systems work as well as the West? Like here in the United, we're always so much.
You know, Westerners criticize Africans for undemocratic policies of their governments.
Right.
But it goes deeper than that. Democracy in America cannot work in Africa exactly. Okay, you took out Gaddafi.
That's right.
And everybody said that was the right thing to do. You took out Gaddafi. But look at what has happened. Now you have ISIS militants exporting the ideology and killing thousands of people, raping and maiming women. So your process of democracy is not working. You took out Saddam. Now what is happening to Iraq? You took out Saddam because you wanted your policies to work. Jimmy Carter took out the Shah of Iraq, and they had the Ayatollah. So you cannot judge the world by your standards. It took you hundreds of years to get there. You could have a meeting in Nigeria in a small gathering of 10 people. And as you look at them, there could be a guy up here, he's in the 22nd century.
Yeah.
If you look at a guy, talking to him, he's talking 1950. So my question is, as a leader or as a politician, how have a conversation or set a policy for a group of people where their values span 400 years.
Yeah.
400 years. Now, when Obama makes a speech, he's talking to the same people, it's the same language. Nigeria speaks 250 languages. Okay? And some believe in Christianity, some believe in Islam, some believe in idol worshippers, some believe in
nothing at all.
Okay, so you got religion or whatever. Then you have some who are very rich, you have middle class, you have some very poor. You have some folks who never had light, water, and who live in an environment you would consider despicable. But that's poverty.
Yes.
Now you have some who want to drink a $300 bottle of champagne. You need to have a conversation with everybody. That's very, very hard. And so the way I see leadership in Africa, you got to go through a period of a totalitarian regime. Then you go through a period of semi-democratic. Then you go through a period of democracy. To get through the period of democracy, you got to have an educational system that works for everybody,
yes.
so everybody thinks alike.
Yes.
Okay, not everybody speaks English, and not everybody went to school. And if you believe in black magic, and you don't, you believe in God, you believe in Islam or Christianity, to have that conversation is hard.
It's hard.
Have you ever had to try to have a conversation with a fundamentalist
Oh.
in any religion? Is that a possibility? So it's hard, and America should not impose its will or its values on other countries, because in doing so, you're creating havoc in the world.
Well, thank you so much, Ben. It's been a wonderful class for me. I wouldn't call it a conversation, but hopefully we'll continue this conversation next time. And right now, all I can do is wish you the best of luck in your endeavors, and looking forward to next time on Frank Talk.